Hi team, welcome to the episode. Just two very quick messages before we let you get into the episode. The first one, very important, gig tickets. We have put on a gig on the 17th of July in Northampton. We've put together one of the best lineups I've ever seen, legitimately. Elliot Williams, Rolling Thunder, The Motive and Garden. You will not be able to see these bands at this price for much longer. There are still tickets available, but they won't be for long. tsrp.co.uk, go and grab a ticket, come, it's going to be a huge party, it's going to be amazing, we'll all be there, bands are going to be class, get your ticket. Second thing, the audio on this podcast can be a little bit iffy throughout. Stick with it, please, it's such a good episode, the callers were amazing, they're so funny, really good stories, it's just a bit of background noise, we've tried to get rid of it. Stick with it, don't give up with it, bear with us, it is such a good episode, so stick with it, stream their new song, check them out. Listen to the whole thing, leave reviews and all that good stuff, and make sure you buy your ticket as soon as you can. Love you all. Peace. Enjoy.
Harry had only just joined us as well.
Harry joined us, and then we started blowing up. Like, it was like everything kind of happened for a reason.
All the stars and the planets were aligned.
It's his saxophone getting the ladies. That's
Oh, see you later.
What's happened?
Oh no, he was loving that as well. He was like, "What? Don't stop, please."
Please compliment me.
Right then, team. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Scratch Record podcast. Today we're joined by a band that we've been backing for quite a while now, since they released their Placebo single. Since then, they've released 3 singles, with the most recent one being Breathe. They've recently taken social media by storm with some incredible TikToks and Reels. They're going to be back out soon, playing some gigs and some brilliant festivals. Today we have Crawlers joining us on the virtual sofa. How are we all?
Virtual sofa's very comfy, sir.
You're welcome. We don't skimp on the virtual sofa. You've got to make sure everyone's comfy.
Get on this. Absolute beauty.
Exactly. We've funded a whole coffee shop for half the guests. So.
If you're going to go out, you might as well go full.
Absolutely going crazy over here.
Using the Scratch Record credit card to pay for their coffees.
Tap water on the house.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Spoilers.
Right, well, what we want to do more recently is drop you straight into a scenario, okay, to get you thinking. So, while the stools and chairs are moved around in the background.
Sorry. I didn't think that. I was like,
what's going on?
Coffee shop, Harry.
Sorry.
Don't be silly, it's fun. Straight into a scenario. So, we want you to pretend that there's been an alien invasion, right? UFOs have come down, dropped onto Earth. They want to find out about all of our knowledge, math, sciences, English, everything. They also want to know about music. So they have chosen an indie rock band to go to these aliens and explain what they're about, and you've been chosen. So
stupid choice. We're all dead.
You've got to explain to these aliens who you are, what you're about from scratch, and explain Crawlers to them. Go.
Get on this, dude.
Get on me. Angry, shouty trumpets is what comes to mind.
Political.
You have to explain what a trumpet is to them, though. They wouldn't know.
Exactly.
We don't even say trumpet. We just go boom, boom, machine. I think we'd just be honest. We'd be like, making music with these little. They think we're the aliens, so I'd be like, we're an alien rock being. I don't even know what I'm trying to.
An alien rock.
You're an alien rock?
We're aliens and we play a rock.
They just pick up a rock and go like this. We're like, no.
Not that
I think we've nailed that. I think no one could top that answer. Quite honestly, I think we nailed that.
They have a full understanding now. You've absolutely smashed it.
We could write an encyclopedia and people would be like, do you know what? I couldn't have put it better myself.
Angry rock trumpet, I think, is what we got. So that's fine.
I think that makes so much sense. If they need any more information about those 3 attributes, we would give it to them.
We'd send them to our website. That's what we'll do. Then
Yeah, just
plug all of our-
Google us.
some merch.
We
And then they can like
we just go, hey, stream this and send us spot.
Just
Yeah.
add us on TikTok. That'll explain a lot.
Definitely. I like that. Okay. So what we wanted to do is sort of go back to the beginning of Crawlers, and sort of get a sense of how it all started. So where did all of you meet? How did it start?
Go on, Amy.
This is your question.
So me and Liv went to school together. We used to be in a cover band together back in the day. Weren't very good.
They were a Pitbull cover band, weren't you? Shut up.
Pitbull.
No, we weren't. We weren't. No, we weren't that cool.
No, we weren't. We weren't
Would that be cool?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Anything with
Mr.
top
Worldwide.
anything would be cooler than what we did.
Right, what did you cover? Give us a few examples.
We did
fear in Liv's eyes right now.
Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix.
Nice. Okay.
We did.
It wasn't even like the song choices were bad. It was just the execution was just awful.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good. It was just us. It was just us being shit.
Terrible.
Yeah, and then that kind of veered off after school, and then Liv and Holly met in college, and we all came together from there, really.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. So when did you actually start Crawlers itself?
Crawlers
What,
itself
2 years
was-
ago now.
Yeah,
back in
so
2018, wasn't it?
yeah, 2018 is when we kind of started non-officially, because again, we just kind of started playing covers, getting used to playing with each other. And then my friend messaged me and asked if that she needed a band to play their 18th birthday party. And I went, go on. So our first gig was my mate's 18th, shout out Lee. And we only had 2 songs at that point, and one of them was called So Tired. If I
So
say the name of the other one, yeah, Amy will punch me.
We're not
so
discussing
it was
Oh,
so,
why?
it was so
It needs to be
bad.
buried in the ground.
No,
Is it
no,
still,
no,
is it still somewhere?
I had a rap.
I really,
Fuck, really?
Oh, I still want to hear the lyrics to this rap.
You know,
I have deleted it from anywhere that it could be found.
No, right.
Oh.
Exclusive scratch record.
Oh,
performance.
Ian's definitely got a video somewhere, sure.
No, Liv, I'm
no.
gonna burn your dad's phone because he's probably got it somewhere.
No, honestly, Amy, he does, and I was like, you dare ever release that. I will
honestly,
not speak to you.
I honestly
No,
have
we're
been
finding a
watching so
way.
much. I've been watching
No.
so much Robert Plant at the time. I thought I was him. I was like, I don't know what I was doing in that song. It was
awful, guys. You don't understand. It was shocking.
other than that, like the gig went well, and then after that, I think that's kind of when we went, oh, actually, let's get a set down, and we just started writing tunes and gigging everywhere. We were that band that was on every like week twice, and we'd be going in all our group chats going, hey, £7 on the door, girls, come kick it. Remember, red at 5 p.m.
Everybody being like, yeah, we're gigging again. And people would be like, don't care.
Yeah, and
I don't care.
we started getting our songs down, and then we joined this like free program called Mars, which you get to go in a recording studio in your home city and record a song. So we recorded So Tired, which is the first song we ever wrote together, which started off as a neo soul song. I don't know how that was a thing. And I know, mate, it was so funny. Like we started off, me and Amy were like really into like Alabama Shakes, like Brittany Howard at the time. So we were like, oh yeah. And Liv was like, what the fuck's this shite thing?
I didn't quite know what to expect.
Literally, and it kind of merged into the kind of rock tune it had, which definitely was a big step in the direction of our sound. And then we just recorded that song, and it kind of all went a bit cray from there. I need to stop saying that unironically.
That was a serious use of that term then.
Went a bit cray from there, yeah, because like we posted it, and like I remember we were at this gig. Bear in mind, at this point, we'd have like 5 people, which was my mum, Liv's dad, and Jess. I was literally like, all that, like people who come to our gigs. And one of the promoters came up to us going, you know, your song has 30k on Spotify. And we went, how? It's only my mum who listens to it.
30,000 times. That is.
Yeah, it probably is. All of our parents just like looping it.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, but really.
It turned out Spotify put it on like the Discover Weekly for some accounts. So it just kind of started. And that was kind of the first
That's
step.
a little step, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, cool. Did Lee have a good birthday?
They had a great birthday. I mean, yeah.
Good,
Seems
yeah,
to
sounds
anyway.
good. Yeah.
Didn't get booed off somehow.
Yeah, it might be quite a claim to fame in the future. They'll be like, yeah, you know, Crawlers played at my 18th birthday.
Honestly, Lee always says that. Like every time we have it, Lee goes, hey, just remember my 18th birthday.
That's where it all began.
It's all down to Lee.
Oh, brilliant. So once you've done, so you were playing the gigs just around the set in Liverpool, like just kind of doing around, was it in Liverpool around the gaff? Did you have any like real shockers that you thought, fuck, why are we here? Sort of thing.
Oh, there was this one gig, right? And we have this cursed venue when every time we play there, it goes wrong. And to the point where I genuinely think that, I don't know if we just manifested it now, we can't play there because it will go wrong. Mm-hmm. And we did this like gig there and we had a 20-minute set or something like that.
I never want to go back there ever.
I never.
No.
So in the space of this 20-minute set, which cut short, by the way, got cut short, I fell
by
over.
you?
No, by me.
Like one song, you were like, we're not doing the second half of the set. And I was like, all right.
I spilled 2 cups of water on the stage, tripped over them, fell over twice how the fuck did you do that? Fell over twice. The drum kit fell apart. Liv's like Jack Leeds in her bass fell out. Couldn't hear Amy. I fell over again a 3rd time. It was just horrific. Liv, you couldn't hear any backing vocals. The vocals just didn't exist. It was a mess.
Honestly, anything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
Like in the most dramatic fashion you can imagine. So it was a lot.
It was a shocker. And I think from that, I literally remember getting the train home because I was going to one of my friends' birthday parties after it. And I was like, maybe this is it. Maybe that was all. Maybe we peaked.
That was definitely not our peak.
No, I mean like,
no, but like that was
before then we peaked.
Yeah.
That was
that was our best set ever.
Turns out we were wrong.
Yeah. So did you get any like fan reaction during that? Like were people like, what did people do when you were falling over? All this?
Usually people are just pissed, aren't they? So
Yeah, they might not even noticed.
like
No one even noticed. That was
our friends from Sheffield, they were playing as well. And we came off and we were like, that was shit. That was awful. And he was like, no, it was really good.
We're like, guys, no,
I
don't
was
be
like, you don't need
polite.
to lie to me. I know it was awful.
Honestly, we literally finished. I was like,
It was my dad, bless him, was like, he felt guilty. He was like, I couldn't get to what was right at the back. I wanted to help. And I was like, Dad, there was nothing to say.
Don't say
like on the floor like this, like, all right, Pete.
You need to walk off it at that point.
That's what really fell over them.
That's
So
not
good.
too bad though. At least you managed to like turn up and play a 10-minute set. Like it could have gone worse.
Oh.
Worst 10 minutes of our lives.
I don't think the only way it could have got worse is if the venue set on fire.
Oh, yeah, I think that would have topped
To be
it.
fair, with how much water I spilt, I'm surprised that didn't happen.
Yeah, burn the whole place down.
Honestly.
Yeah, to be fair, we've had some worse ones. I think like who was it? And now to stop if they put all of the lights on in the venue, and then wouldn't turn them back off, and they had to play like
Yeah.
all the lights.
So they didn't have someone that was they didn't have someone to like run the lights. So the bartender was like, oh, so they came up to him. It was someone that was supporting their gig. And they went to the bartender like, can you just like flick the lights off before the main chorus and then flick them back on when the chorus happens? And he's like, well, if I'm serving someone, I can't flick them back on. So they ended up turning the lights off, and then they had to play the rest of the song in darkness, no lights at all, because he was serving someone and busy at the bar. So they played the rest of the track in complete darkness, couldn't see nothing. No one in the venue could see anything.
Hashtag immersive performance.
Exactly, yeah. It's like a Coldplay gig. Everyone gets like their phones out and stuff. I don't think it works quite.
Get your lighters out.
Yeah.
That sounds like the type of place, you know, them weird places in London that like you go into the darkness and restaurants, and it's like meant to enhance your senses.
Mm.
Yeah,
I don't know how anyone goes to. I don't know how anyone goes to a restaurant like that.
I had someone I went to high school with went there, and I was saying to her like, okay, like, what if he gave you something that you don't like? And she was like, well,
Yeah, Lynn, if you went in there, you'd be dead. You're celiac.
you won't be able to find me. They'd be like, which one's the celiac? I'd be like,
They'd be like, you gluten free. You gluten free. You feel gluten free.
you don't feel gluten.
They'd have to like write it on your forehead in like glow in the dark paint or something, so they can. There she
Yeah.
is over there. Yeah.
That would be horrible.
No, I'm not sure on that. One other thing we wanted to get into was sort of before all of this, before the early gigs. Have you all sort of been musical from like a young age? Like when did it start for you? Like getting into music?
Should we like all give our musical? I feel like everyone's got
Yeah,
like, that
give
one
us your
musical
background.
story from kid. Go on, Harry. You've been
You've not
quiet,
had a chance yet,
girly.
Gil.
I guess I've always had like a little dabble in like instruments here and there. Like I used to play saxophone years ago. The thing is with saxophone is like, because it's such a loud instrument, I was always so self-conscious about practicing. So I'd only practice like once a week when no one was in. When it was with the drum kit, it was like I got an electric kit, so I can just whack my headphones in on the way. So that's the one that stuck really, because I was just in my own little box practicing.
I like that. That's quite saxophone is an edgy one to go for at an early age.
Yeah, saxophone's a nice start. I like that.
No, I'm not going to lie. I only started playing saxophone because my mum said that the girls would love it.
And now look at you.
Hey, it's true.
What's she wrong though? Harry?
No one, Harry's Tinder profile
She wasn't
picture.
wrong.
The saxophone is one of them instruments. It just makes it just is. It's one of them things you
Yeah,
can't.
it always takes people by surprise when I say I play it. They're like, "Oh, okay." And they hear me play, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, he didn't tell us he played, and then one night we was at Liv's, he just bloody whacked it out and started playing the song. And we were like,
Yeah, all of us are like,
Fuck.
hello.
I was like,
Literally, we went,
"Yeah,
"That's
kept
going on
that
a track."
quiet."
We have no secrets in this band.
This was like 2 months into Harry being in the band as well, and then he pulled that out, and we were like,
Came out as a saxophone.
It's my party trick.
yeah.
Is your party trick is playing the saxophone? How often do you take your saxophone to parties? Just like,
It just rolls up with this like hard case, like
Everyone goes, the words full of wine. Everyone gets a bit drunk. Lying.
yeah.
It's a saxophone.
And
tries to keep it a secret, and they're like, "Yeah, we know. You saw you carry it in when you arrived." At the house."
I'm like, "Wait, what? You want me to play it? Okay."
Yeah,
Oh,
say saxophone.
I once went to this party and there was a piano there. There was this one guy who could play piano really well. I don't know what he played. Radioactive.
what?
You know what?
Imagine
Radioactive by Imagine
You're lying.
And all the girls were like, radioactive.
Gonna be sick.
And I was like,
It is a banger.
and I was like, I need to go home.
You
Imagine
lying.
Dragon for my first ever gig, and like I don't know how to feel about
Oh.
what about you? What's your
Your
first
music.
musical endeavour, babe?
Well, I only started playing when I was like 12. And then, to be honest, the only reason I was motivated to play was because Liv could play really well at 12. And it was really intimidating. So I was just like, I'm just going to learn the same as her and then we can be on the same path.
Oh, how the turns of tables.
You've been demoted to beta.
Excuse me.
Liv playing guitar years before me, now bass player.
Saying it like it's a bad thing.
No, girl. We do.
You're
Yeah,
not
bass
joking.
is great.
Hardest instrument to master, you know.
I'm sorry, I know where I stand. I know.
Go on, Liv, your turn. Your musical endeavour.
My musical endeavour. So yeah, mine was guitar first, as Amy said, and then dabbled in piano for a little bit of vocals just to get some UCAS points, and then
Hold on, wait. Do they trade UCAS points for vocal performances?
yeah. So like the example that I went through, once you got to a certain grade, like it gave you UCAS points, and I thought, right, well, just as a backup, because I know for a fact that like I will probably fail in some of my exams. I was like, I'll get myself some UCAS points just in case. So I did vocals to get them, and then got onto bass when Amy and I were in our cover band.
And she
Our
was
original
much better
bass
at
player.
guitar.
Yeah, she was like, her guitar playing spoke, and I was like, right, okay then. But our original bass player dropped out, so I was like, oh well, I just have to learn bass. Oh, how terrible! Because I'd really wanted to learn it for like years, so it just kind of stuck then.
Yeah, I like that.
A lot of bass players we speak to are like, it always ends up being the bass players dropped out and they fill in, and then they're like, oh, I like this. It's like,
Literally, honest to God, it's the tale as old as time. I swear to God, you can talk to like 50% of bass players, like 60 to 70% of bass players be like, yeah, I only picked it up because like my original bass player dropped out and I was curious.
Honestly, this is the thing with bass though. Easiest to play, hardest to master. Like the technique and stuff is so different. Like I think a lot of people don't realise that until they become like, get used to it. It's such an interesting instrument.
Honestly, I could sit here and ramble about how great bass is all day, but we haven't got that amount of time. And that's not what this interview is
I don't
about.
know. Why not? Let's make it a bass special. We don't care.
I've taken over this entire podcast. Amy and Harry are like, I'm like, right, so moving on to strings.
We cut and everyone else is gone, and it's just you talking to an empty Zoom call.
Literally, I'm like, oh, and another thing.
Honestly, like, yeah, with my like musical journey, I'd always been like, I was like singing and writing songs like from when I was like, when I could write and stuff. Like, I remember I used to be that kid who goes, Mum, I've got a song to show you. I remember this one time, Mum was like, oh God, here she goes. And I just whipped out, I must have been like 7. There's a video of it somewhere. It was like a pure weird jazz number, but I was like 7 and I wrote this song. My mum was like, okay, we need to get this kid into vocal lessons.
Get some UCAS points for that. That's fucking...
Yeah. Do you know what? Unconditional offer.
Yeah, straight in.
And I think what was so funny about it is like, obviously, I was like 7, I was writing, like my voice is naturally quite low and my mum was like, what the fuck? Like, we'll get a... So I got put into voice lessons, but my primary school, I really wanted, because I was that kid in primary school, because I've got like natural relative pitch, not perfect pitch, Jesus Christ, but like, you know, I can just tell when people are singing out. Singing out.
Singing.
I hate it when people are singing.
Literally. And it used to piss me off so much. And I was like, I just really want to do. So I put my name down to pick every instrument. And because I had like undiagnosed ADHD at the time, they didn't like play anything. They literally said I'd break it, like, which is sad. I mean,
oh, that is so sad.
I know.
How traumatic.
Didn't let me play a single instrument, but obviously I was doing my singing and stuff. And then I went into high school, and on the first day, my teacher, Mrs. Palmer, absolute legend, just said, we're giving away free music lessons. Who wants? I went, me, please fucking please. And she was like, okay, you're going to play trumpet. And I went, what the fuck? Okay. I started learning trumpet then, and I literally, in high school, I didn't do anything bar music. I literally, every day I'd have a different music club. I'd have singing, ukulele club, orchestra, wind band, like brass ensemble, like I did everything. Like my whole time was just in the music department. It was like intense because I just loved it so much, and it became such a natural kind of thing for me, as well as like drama and shit. And then when I left, I would only really listen to like classical and jazz music, obviously emo tunes, because let's face it, that's just what life was, obviously. And I went to college, and my music teacher was a fucking knob. Basically told me I couldn't sing. It was rough, even though some people were getting marked in their A-level by singing Panic at the Disco. Like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh, I can't do music anymore. After all these years, like music being my thing, I was like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm quitting. And I went to drop out this college, and my mum went, oh, by the way, on a whim, I just signed you up for this music course. I went, what the fuck? So I joined Lipa sixth form, thinking it was a musical theatre degree, by the way. And it turns out, no, it was popular music. I had never listened to pop music in my life. I was that annoying jazz dickhead. That was me. So
fucking love jazz.
Yeah, like I was a proper like Chet Baker, like Louis Armstrong fucking kid, and then going into like learning about pop music and obviously meeting Liv, who was like playing all these rock tunes. I was like, I fucking vibe with this, and my voice like suited, obviously, because I was so used to doing jazz and classical, and I was trained in opera. Stepping into like rock music it felt right, and it felt like doing my own songs. Just it was good, and that's kind of like where we ended up. It took a long journey to get to there.
Like 20 times the amount of detail than everyone else. Everyone else was
Harry was just like, I played saxophone, then played drums.
I was like, here's my life story.
That was a roller coaster. I feel like I've been through like a whole like TV drama series.
I thought I've got enough to write.
The Untold Story, out in September.
Yeah, I feel like I had like 5 questions along the way.
Remember any of them?
No.
ADHD really told that story.
It's perfect. It makes our job so much easier. So one thing did stick out. This teacher that told you couldn't sing. When we won't say his name. But how did that make you? We can if you want.
No free promo. No free promo.
Yeah, exactly. What was that like? Did that sort of really knock you and like throw you off? I feel like at that age, that's like a big like you pursue it or you don't. So something like that could be a bit.
I was very, very insecure at this point, and it's very weird because like with singing, I always knew that it was like something I absolutely loved doing, but it was never like it was always teetering whether I wanted to go into that or drama, like all the time. And having someone, because obviously I was grade 8 classically trained at this point, like, and when I sang to her, she was just like, she just made up the weirdest bullshit. She said, contra alto isn't a voice range. I was like, so Adele doesn't exist. Like, I don't get what you're chatting. Like, And when she said that, it was such a big knock for me because she kind of made me, which obviously I loved playing trumpet, but she made me play trumpet and try and jump from like a grade 4 standard to a grade 8 standard in a year, which is impossible. Like doing that jump is like stupid. And I think from that point, I was like, maybe singing isn't for me. Maybe I think in my head, that was like, I had proper imposter syndrome moment. Because obviously I'd done like loads of singing competitions and like stuff like that. And it just made me kind of go, maybe I'm shit actually. And it really kind of started feeding into like an actress thing. And I think it's the first time I had a panic attack because of her as well. She was just because she was so nasty. And I think
point her out to me, I'll beat her off.
Yeah, I think after that,
Put a picture up on the screen now.
Yeah, everyone just got abused.
Like a wanted sign.
But I think it was very nice to have like other teachers like in my high school and my singing teacher and my like next college that I went to at Lipa sixth form. They were so encouraging and really helped me build that confidence and discover my true voice, which she definitely, hindered my growth with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that's definitely something that a lot of people go through throughout school. Like because I played instruments when I was like much younger. No, don't smile, Joe. I seem to have
every episode he brings up the fucking steel pans. Every episode.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Steel pans.
I was just going to say my experience of going into secondary school and like trying to still keep into music and then not feeling like feeling like an outcast from that. And I feel like lots of kids go through that with whether it be with teachers, whether it would be with peers or anything. But is there anything that you'd like, if you could directly talk to that younger version of you, what would you like suggest to her now? And how would you go into that and kind of talk them into like carrying it on?
I think like, when something's right and like, it's really hard to be able to trust yourself. And I feel like, especially with television and specifically things like X Factor, which really kind of exploited people and made them seem kind of insane for knowing their talents and stuff like that, really it makes builds up an anxiety of you, an imposter syndrome, wondering if you're actually good enough. And especially when people start telling you not, and especially because obviously with my problems, obviously I have ADHD, which means you get a horrible thing called rejection dysphoria, which means like when you get rejected or told something, it hurts more than a normal person. Like it really, really deeply affects you. And obviously I wasn't aware of this diagnosis until I left this point. And I would explain to myself that, and I was like, you are completely valid feeling this upset because it's something you've worked at your entire life. And to be told that by someone who, let's be honest, couldn't sing, oops, savage, it does lose a lot. Like, and I think that sometimes if there's something you enjoy, you should just keep pursuing it, and you shouldn't let someone else's opinion stop you from enjoying your life and what fulfills you.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
that's good. Wholesome. Very well spoken.
Very wholesome.
Well spoken. I like that.
Very well. Clip it and ship it. That's going on there. That's going on the reels.
Getting deep in the Scrap podcast
today. to keep the ball rolling, we really want to speak to you about the new EP, because we're going to obviously try and trick you into saying a lot more than you should. So that's always fun. But by the time this comes out, Breathe will be out. Breathe, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
So what can we expect from that single? I mean, it'll already be out so people can stream it already, but what is that like?
Go on, Amy. I haven't heard you in a while.
Well, it's coming out tonight, which is exciting. I don't think we have a song like it really. It's pretty much like a standard crawler song, but in comparison to like our other songs that we're releasing on the EP, very different vibe. But it's cool. It's a cool song.
It's kind of
in depth.
Very,
nice.
Like Crooked Vultures.
Yeah.
It's very Crooked Vultures. It's not like our normal inspiration go-to in that sense.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was quite an early written song as well.
Ever.
Yeah. It's the only like song on the EP that's kind of been written for a long time. All the other songs on the EP have been written in the last year.
Yeah,
if that.
Say it's the one song on the EP that's like grounded as a performance song, whereas the other three
there's
branched out.
Yeah, like we didn't change anything about Breathe, but like even Hush, like we had Hush pretty much from the start, but that changed so much in the studio. Whereas like Harry said, like it's very much grounded in like where crawlers were at the time that it was written. Like nothing about it has changed.
definitely. But like the whole idea and like what the song's about kind of is still extremely true, and it kind of goes into this whole philosophical idea that technology is like the best and the worst things happen to us as a race. And I kind of bring that comparison about like, are we no longer evolving because of technology, and my kind of anxieties behind that, but also how, because like social media, it has done everything for us. We wouldn't be half successful without it. But also, is that where like underlying anxiety comes from? So it's kind of like that kind of idea. And the breathe metaphor is the idea of taking the breath away and taking a step back from social media and online presence, and living currently, kind of
Living in the moment.
living in the moment, live for now.
You really like that meme, don't you? Of the whole like, you think it's here.
I swear it's like a nervous twitch that anyone, I'm like, anyway. Yeah, so anyways, that was like the first thing that made us blow up, was me like in the middle of a gig, like just singing. We literally finished the portion, it was so aggressive, and there was like a pause, and I was like, I just go, anyway, and then like
That's well funny.
Oh, brilliant. So back to the EP. So we've got, so is it the 3 singles that are out? Like Hush, Breathe, and
statues.
that's it, Statues. So you've got them 3 singles out. What else can we expect from the EP? Like how many more singles are coming out before the final release?
Lots more singles, 2 more. Very, very different from it. Basically, I think with this EP, we're kind of trying to show the different type of music we can create, and that we're not just kind of staying in our own sound. So there's 2 more singles. One more is a bit more like, I don't know, I'd say it's a dancey tune, but it's also in drop D flat. So play your cards right, and then
It's like
started off as a poppy tune, and then in the studio, we're like, yeah, go on, heavy this.
Made it really heavy. I mean, I was thriving. I was so happy.
It's literally Dua Lipa when metal is what I'd say.
It was a good move. I think it was the right move.
Yeah, definitely.
It sounds huge. And then the other song is completely different. It's so stripped back. It's like, it's a journey.
I've
That
never
song.
written anything like that.
No, I think it's
Have we
pure
ever
emotional.
Write anything like that again.
Like, I'm so proud of that song. I can't spoil too much about it, but like nothing will beat the moment when we've got that recorded in the studio and we all stepped out going, oh, I'm really proud of that song.
Yeah, we had a bit of a moment leaving the studio, like, because we were literally in there for like 2-3 days, and like when everything was finally done, like it was very emotional. Like we walked out, like, guys, we've just done that. That's huge.
I cried during my vocal take of that song. Like, actually, like, and it's what made the track sound so fucking emotional, because it's like our producer Pete, who is a fucking legend. He's done like some really fucking cool shit. He did like Bieber Doobie's newest album, and he's like just a great guy to work with. And he literally, when we were recording vocals, put me in the thing, turned all the lights off and went, I want you to think of all these lyrics, and I want you to go full in, and I want you to like take what you've written this about, and I want you to feel it all. And like, it was the most intense like recording session.
It's very emotional.
We literally we left the studio and it was done. We looked at each other. We were like, guys, we peaked too early.
We can never top that.
Honestly, but it's even if that's the way it is, I'm happy with that.
And it's nice to like write a song and be like, I literally don't care if this does well because I love this song so much, which is like a really nice feeling.
Like we literally said, like we are creatively satisfied with having written and recorded that song.
Yeah. Which I think is more important, really. Like, you know, that we have had people on who say they watch the numbers way too much, and actually, like, the best stuff comes from just focusing on getting that creative process right. And if you do, everything else will sort of come naturally from it. Whereas if you try and write thinking, right, you need to write something that's going to do well on TikTok or it's going to get streams, then it doesn't work quite as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's really nice to be able to come, because obviously, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but especially having labels come into uni and working for labels myself, like, songs now, a producer will literally go in with the intent of creating 30-second to 15-second viral material in the song. They'll even make a different edit just for TikTok, because that is how viral out, whatever that is.
Virality.
Yeah.
Because it's made that they need certain elements to create that, like to make transitions and to make meme material and whatever, which now obviously is an amazing thing, especially if the song naturally has that, but forcing that intent does that take away musicality? Does that take away like the whole feeling of when a song happens, you know?
It takes away a lot of creative freedom. And I think it's something that we've noticed and we've touched on quite a lot. It's something that a lot of bands seem to be almost like not necessarily tripping up on, but they'll have that really incredible short period and they'll be like, right, that's it, song done sort of thing, put it out. And it doesn't quite sound ready. The amount of times that I've like heard something on TikTok or on Reels or something and been like, right, let's have a gander at that. And then the rest of the song is shite. Like the rest of the song
literally.
is like literally not worth a wank. Like it's just useless.
Is that a saying?
What the wank?
Not worth a wank. Is that not a saying?
Yeah, that's a saying.
I thought it was a saying. I've never heard that.
I've never heard that.
I thought I misheard you.
Oh. Maybe that's just a really rogue saying. Nope. Okay, thought that was more regularly used than it is. Okay,
no, skip over it.
Skim over that comment. Let's move on.
You know where your musical satisfaction comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's true though. Like, there's so many songs I've found on TikTok, and I thought they were really good, and sometimes they hit, but then sometimes you're like, oh my god, it was just that 30 seconds or just that 15 seconds.
It's
that was
so
good.
disappointing though.
It's
You
so
feel very
disappointing.
deflated because you think, oh my god, this slaps, and then like you say, you listen to the rest of it, and you're like, oh,
Don't know. Castaways by the Backyardigans is a tune though.
that is a bit of a tune.
Castaways.
Yeah. I think it's what people like, what the end goal is as well. Like, and another thing we've touched on is like, do you want something to go viral so that they come to your gigs, or do you want something to go viral for the sake of seeing
The
2 million
clout.
streams and the sort of the followers from it? And I think if that's all you want, then it can work. Like, have your 30 seconds that's catchy and grow your fan base. That's fine. But when it comes down to actually being an artist and thinking, right, I want to play it live, I want to be proud of it and get it out, that's like a whole different thing.
I think there's definitely like two different types of artists who use TikTok, and I think like there are two different ways to kind of use it. So obviously there is the typical way, which completely dominates the music industry right now, which is having that viral potential, creating dances, creating trends, etc. Which a lot of big artists are using, but also like sometimes they just come from nothing. It completely depends. Sometimes it's foretold, sometimes it's not. And then you have people using it as another form of social media, which I think is really interesting. Something we do and other bands like The Real, Second Thoughts and stuff really engage with as well, where they just use it as a way of showing off their personality, finding their target audience a little bit easier because the algorithm is so specific. And I think using it this way, in my opinion, is better because it puts your music first and doesn't mean you're not just like creating music for virality, because that's not what we're doing. We're not going to get clout. We just like making music, and if we find people who like our music and want to come our gigs and support us, then fucking hell, amazing. That's great alongside the way.
Yeah, I think it's also like it's really good if you use it that way for other creative outlets, because we spoke to the Reels would have been 2 weeks ago, and they were saying how like the creative outlet that they're having with creating these almost sketches and stuff is something they're finding quite rewarding as well, because they're that way inclined of becoming almost like dramatized of the versions of themselves. And I think that's something that is really interesting because it's adding another layer to the bands that people are really interested in at the moment. Like it adds that wider thing that you wouldn't have necessarily seen. And they, if it was the early 2000s or the 90s or something, like you wouldn't have seen that other part of them, that other potential of like creative content.
Definitely. It's like a private Instagram story, really, but everyone has access. And it's really funny because I don't know, we've definitely noticed that the TikToks we create that are just us having fun and like what we're like in rehearsal, because like I'm not tooting my own trumpet, but we're quite funny.
we think we're funny.
We think we're funny.
Yeah, we think we're hilarious to anyone else. They're just like,
what the fuck? But they're the things that tend to go more viral because people are getting to learn more about us, and from that they discover the music. Like, oh, actually, these guys can play as well. Why not? Do you know what I mean? And they get kind of see another level of that, which in reality is what social media is for now. Like people are in it for the music, but they want to see what the artist is doing as well, like and get what they're getting up to, which TikTok wise people get to see from us.
Yeah.
No, we've sort of moved into TikTok and EP quite nicely because that's what we wanted to do anyway. So that was nice. And we wanted to speak to you about, thank you.
Just for running commentary, Joe.
Ruined the segue by mentioning that
Innit? You just completely killed that dead in its tracks. It's now like
we edit it. Just edit it out.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. That's
right.
Left there. That's left there forever now.
Yeah, true. We don't have the effort to edit out. But with Reels, what was it like sort of blowing up from that? Because we sort of followed you before, say like last year, and then it was almost like January time. It was like you went from like however many followers to like 30K in like
fucking insane.
like a night. And I remember El saying, he was like, "Have you seen Crawlers?" And I was like, "Oh, no,
have you seen Crawlers recently?
Are they releasing a song or what?" And he was like, "No, they're like." They've like blown up, and I was
their
like,
Instagram. I was like, your Instagram just went fucking wild. Like literally, I was like on it.
We were refreshing, and it was going up by thousands.
It was like
followers.
7,000 followers a day at one point. It was actually ridiculous.
It was fucking crazy.
It was so scary though. Like for us, we were so used to like getting like 2 likes, and then all of a sudden, like all these people were like following us. And they get, well, you know what I mean? Like, just like a very small, like little audience that we had gotten very comfortable with the size of that audience. And then all of a sudden it was like, it gone from like, I don't know how many we had, like 2,000, something like that. All of a sudden it was like 5,000, 10,000, 15. And we were like,
we were like passing bands that we have loved and respected, like follower wise. And it was freaking us the fuck out.
Yeah, it was scary.
It was so scary.
It was so scary because all of a sudden it's like people know that we exist. And that was a very like, exposing thing.
Yeah.
We were like, oh my God, like people actually know who we are. And it was very, very surreal.
I think what's crazy is that we had been working so hard for such a point of time. And it wasn't like we weren't reaping the benefits, because we were creating the music that we wanted, but we were working so hard, and suddenly it just started paying off like out of nowhere, like everything that we thought.
Yeah.
Not that it was just crazy. And it was very hard to be like, we fucking deserve this because we work.
Wasn't
like,
even like it was the followers that, was like really rewarding. Like just loads of good things happened to us around that time.
Oh yeah. That's when we we signed to the labels we were part of. That's when we started getting links with really good producers and Pete and stuff. That's when we were writing songs that we were just like, Jesus Christ, our songwriting's getting better. It seemed like everything kind of just fell into place.
Like Harry had only just joined us as well.
Harry joined us, and then we started blowing up. Like it was like everything kind of happened for a reason.
All the stars and the planets were aligned.
It's his saxophone getting the ladies. That's
Oh, see you later.
What's happened?
Oh no, he was loving that as well.
Yeah.
He was like, "What? Don't stop, please."
Please compliment me.
Well, we temporarily lost them, but so we'll plow on. Sure,
Yeah, they'll jump back on in a sec. Sure.
Yeah.
Who's the host of the meeting?
Me.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah.
I think so.
The back.
Don't know what happened there. We left. We
Guys, we
lost the
just finished
chat.
the interview. It's all wrapped up now.
Yeah.
Oh, sound.
Brilliant.
But yeah, Instagram Reels, that was really crazy. And I think like I kind of set myself a goal, because I've always been quite, and especially just like with crawlers and everything, and I've always been quite well versed in Instagram, and I never really understood TikTok and Reels. And I really went ham and studied that shit. Like I went crazy, and we just backhandedly just started posting stuff on Instagram Reels, and we were doing it when it just became a thing as well. So I think we were one of the first people to start blowing up because of Instagram Reels, and we're the first people to start engaging with how amazing they are.
On it, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's definitely like slowed down.
Yeah. I think we just hit the algorithm at the right time, because Reels were a new thing. So obviously Instagram wanted Reels to be a bigger thing. So we just hit the sweet spot, I reckon.
Yeah,
we really did.
Very lucky with the timing.
We did. I think everything was really found at the right place. And I think like what's funny with the Reels is like we get so many amazing people getting our music. Obviously our streams have like 10 times the amount. And we've got amazing people who are just the kindest to us. But then we also get like the most
like the nastiest people on them.
Really?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh guys, it's the thing is, it becomes a joke because you click on their profiles and it'll just be a picture of a car, and I'm like, okay, I understand where you.
Yeah, I mean, we never take it to heart, but it's just funny. Like it is. It's actually so funny.
But because we blew up so quickly, people think we're an industry plant. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you tweeting about that.
Honestly, people like we get so many comments. Yeah, I'm like, you think we've got that much money? You think we have to pay for verification? Nice. Like,
you can't be selling trainers if I was an industry plant. No.
Honestly. But like Amy said, like we just make jokes out of it. Like Amy's even made like a full-on TikTok, like using some of the comments that we had, and it was just hilarious.
And what's even funnier is that blew up and we got loads more followers.
Yeah, we got that.
It's the irony.
Yeah.
I think like it's one thing that you kind of start learning when you get a bit more people like getting into music and stuff, that there's always going to be some people who hate your music. And it's really funny when, okay, music's completely subjective. Of course, not everyone's going to like our music, but when people just start thinking that we're an industry plan, it's so funny. I'm like, girl, I'm on a fucking student loan. What do you think? Universal could be paying me. I'd be taking that right now.
I know. I think it's a classic thing with the indie scene. I think is that as soon as everyone will build you up until you do well, and then they're like, oh fuck them. Like,
Yeah.
look at them now that they've got thousands of followers. We just hate them all of a sudden. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I
It
just
is very
can't get my head around that mindset of like people just hate it when bands do well. It's
And
They'll, like stop supporting you, which is because obviously we like, well, just friends we've built over the years with like doing different gigs and stuff. Like we'll always still support everyone we meet along the way. But then I don't know, like we've had these like a few examples that come to mind where people like, you know, saying nasty things about us, and it's just like, well, I'm not going to support you anymore.
Honestly, but the funny thing for me is they were the people who supported us, and then after we blew up, they started slagging us off, and they think we don't know that we know that they've been slagging us
if
off.
you've been slagging us off, we know.
Like, we know.
Can we get a hint?
The thing, like,
No.
There's a hint, just a slight. Can
No,
we
I am
like
not.
a rhyme or
Not causing
like a riddle? Can we get a riddle?
No, we're not causing beef because it's just not worth
it's just
it.
beef gets followers.
It's not worth it.
it will help us.
Publicity is good publicity.
We can stir the pot. It helps us.
I am not in the mood for beef. No.
No, it's funny because like the ones, it's just for us, like it's nice being able to shout out small artists we feel deserve a platform. Like one example is we've got a friend called Torture. She goes to what uni. I think her music's fucking sick. And like I was just making a post on a TikTok just about artists I think are really, really good. And I included her, and she gave us a big message, didn't she, guys? Just like, thanks so much for shouting me out. My monthly listeners have just like tripled, like just for a little shout out that you guys have done. Like, it's so great. And I was like, Anna, your music's sick. Of course, I want people to listen to it. Like, you're so good. Like, it's nice to be able to like give, you know. And I think
like showing the support that like it's not like we're like, oh, we have a big platform now, so we're gonna show off that we've got a big platform. They're shouting at all these bands. Like, it's not like that.
No, not at
It's
all.
like they have always supported us, so like we're just supporting them back, and it's just one of those things. If we can get them some listeners, then it's great, because if they would do the same for us.
Exactly, and we wouldn't be where we are right now if it wasn't for other bands and other promoters and other people in the industry being kind to us. So I think that is one thing I've so learned, and I know people always say it, but in the music industry, if you want to get anywhere, you need to be kind, and you need to be loving, and you need to know everyone. It's really hard, but you need to know where you meet people and just be kind to them. And you never know who's going to be mixing your track down the line, or you never know who's going to be a promoter down the line, or you never know whose band is going to blow up and they might ask you to support, things like that. Just be nice to everyone, because there's so much hate. Right? Why be horrible?
Honestly, like, the music industry is such a toxic place anyway. Like, so like what's the need to be even more nasty?
Yeah,
Like,
I think we've noticed
not
that
needed,
just. We've noticed that just dealing with some managers, like a lot of the times it's like having some of them are just like dead rude. They don't like give you even the time of day. And it's, end of the day, everyone wants to talk about music. Everyone wants to get into it. And we've had positions where we're kind of like trying to battle just to sit down on a call with somebody for 45 minutes to an hour. And they're just being rude, blunt, horrible, or like, the worst thing that I find is like the whole like scene. And then they just like, nah, sorry. Or like, nah. Or like just dead bluntness. And I think like no one knows where anyone's going. No one knows who anyone. You've just got to be nice, because actually, end of the day, if all that comes out of it, you gain someone who's a friend, or you gain someone who you enjoy their company. That's all that really matters. If it works out on a business sense, then yeah, happy days. But if not, end of the day, you can just be like, oh, I'm in this city, so and someone else. You can just jump to a gig, and you've got people around you that you kind of know. I think there's like a massive thing about like positive networking instead of like needing it for business.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think like it's obviously the intention's always there, but it's just nice to meet people in the industry and like share good music and chats. And like podcasts like this are so good because it gives people the opportunity not only to listen to a funny podcast, but you're also like learning and talking to great people on the way. Like the people you guys have had on have been so good. And like I've listened to like an odd few because they're just, it's nice to learn, nice to have a little chat, and it's just nice to spread like positivity. I feel like not enough of that happens, especially in an industry like this, especially when, you know, upcoming bands, that's what they need. They just need a bit of kindness and reassurance that fucking hell, it takes time, and we know that more than most. But it's so worth it just to produce music that you like and have people who enjoy music just as much as you.
Absolutely.
That's the second inspirational speech of the podcast. That was that's another one.
Time mark for each one.
Yeah, exactly. We need like a klaxon to go off when it's like the next inspiration. Here we go.
I'm just going to clip it up and put like a YouTube video over it of like something rolling through some hills and stuff and like all the words written out.
People like jumping off high diving boards and like all of that stuff.
Like really like emotional music and like a silver violin
in the background.
Oh, I love it. That was good.
Brilliant. Well, we've been going for a while already. It's been like
so
40.
quick.
I mean, to be fair, 20 minutes of that was me getting a haircut.
Yeah, the unseen bits of the podcast.
Well, we've got two more quick sections to go through. I've got a quick one, which is like our scenario-based questions, which we've done in every podcast this series, so it kind of be silly not to do it with this one. So I've got two scenarios to give you all for the today, and you've got to pick someone from the band to kind of help you with that specific scenario. Right? Okay, so...
Maybe I'm looking at you, Gil.
So...
Nice, yeah.
So you've got into some money. You've managed to get some money in. You've bought a house as a group. You're all living together.
Oh.
Not from streams, I'm assuming.
Team 10, eat this.
So you've bought this house. It's got to later in the evening. You've started chilling out, and you start hearing some noises. There's a ruckus coming from the loft or attic, depending on where you listen to this. You've realised the house that you've bought is actually haunted. Someone has to out the Ouija board, get the stage out, start chatting to them and see what the vibes are like. Like, are they here to harm? Are they here to help? Who's the one in the band that's most likely to do that?
But like when you said that you were hearing noises, I was thinking send Amy out there to have a word and batter him. You mentioned ghosts, I was like, nah, Liv.
Yeah, no, I thought it was someone trying to break in. I was
ready to get the whip.
Amy was going to be like, don't worry, I'll handle it.
Don't worry.
Perfect impression, by the way.
This is for you.
I would defo be the one, but to anyone listening to this, do not play with Ouija boards. Like, just trust me, just don't. They're dangerous. Don't touch them. Don't mess with them.
Same with Sage.
And you've got to be careful with it. Yeah, there's different types of
Sage. Yeah.
No, honestly, because it's appropriation. If you're not from a background, like it's mostly like indigenous backgrounds. Like if you don't have like an indigenous like root, you can't use certain types of sage.
But like white sage you can't use.
Yeah, white sage. Can't use that because it's appropriation. But
level good clans.
You can see why we chose Liv.
I didn't even know there was different types of sages.
So there's different ways that you can chat to ghosts, but Ouija boards and white sage is not the way.
well, there you go. Wow, I didn't realise that we had an expert on the old.
Not an expert. It's just things I've picked up. It's just
That's outrageous.
Expert.
Well, the next thing I've got for you is less ghosty, more less ghost. So you're in this house. The house is now clean. You're fine. No one's, nothing's trying to latch on to you. But you look outside the window after hearing another noise. A few days later, look outside the window. There's a hooded person outside burying something. No one knows what the item is. They are burying something. Who from the band is going to be burying this item?
Ooh.
So who's going to be like randomly, you look outside and you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Ooh. I feel like it would be me like putting too much like oil in the fryer and like, I'm like guys, it's really bad to go down the drain. I'll go and put it else. It's just me like,
why would you have a hoodie on?
Cold.
Rain.
Fell on the ground.
Like I've just woken up from a nap.
You've made that really wholesome, actually. Like, most people have took that as like burying an animal or something. You're like, oh, it was cold, so I've just buried my pan.
Like, oh, won't do the drains no good. I'll go bury the oil on the outside. Refurbish the ground, get it all nice and nice and fresh.
Oily.
Oily, yeah. Daisy start popping out and they're just like covered in oil.
Yeah.
Greasy grass.
I love how you meant bury the oil and Elliot thought you meant bury the entire pan. Like, my pan's oily, so I'm just gonna bury the whole fucking
like, can't be asked doing the washing up, I'll just bury it.
No recovering that now. Fuck it.
Ran out of fairy liquid, but I do have a spade.
What income do you have that you buy a new pan every time you cook anything?
Industry plants.
Yeah. You're looking for an industry plan. It's right fucking. Where are you keeping all them funds, mate?
Elliot's still gone. Look at it.
I'm crying a little bit. In my head, I imagine you'd burnt the oil so you couldn't like get it off. But so yeah.
No,
This is a confession. Elliot's ma. If you're missing a pan, check the garden.
No, I'm going to make mental note of that for next year because Paul and I are moving into a flat next year together. So if I lose my pan, I'll know it's. I know you buried it.
Mate, Elliot, if you buried a pan in your
pen.
Ruined. You ruined it. I can't say it now.
My stomach hurts from laughing.
I was gonna say, if you buried a pan in your back garden, your mum would like send you away to live with the monks or something up in the mountains.
She would. She'd have me off. She'd have me off.
You'd be gone.
Right. So after the pans. Christ, I've lost
Recover. We're
yeah,
all right.
recovery. Right. Last section of the podcast that we normally do, we asked the artists that we're interviewing to shout out a band or an up-and-coming artist that doesn't necessarily have the support that they think it deserves. So what have you lot been listening to that you really think should be getting a bit more publicity?
Sick Boy Method.
Yeah, Sick Boy Method are great. They're the band from Sheffield we were talking about when we fell over. They are so great. Their EP is out and it's fucking sick. I'd also say Torch and Desert Spiders, again, spoke about them before.
Natalie the Monarchy.
Yeah, she's great. Natalie the Monarchy. Who's that one you always say, Harry?
Generation. That's sick. They've got like they've got quite a big following on their social media now at the moment, and also I'd say Courting as well. Like they're doing quite well, but I feel like they could do better.
Courting is sick.
They're sick. They're so good.
I might be playing Chumpet on their album. You know that might happen. It's gonna be good.
That'll be outrageous.
Oh, that's sick.
They're lovely lads. That EP is just class.
So good. Yeah, they're funny as fuck as well. They're funny on Twitter.
Yeah, they're so good on Twitter. The Ed Sheeran video.
There were so many people who legitimately thought that was Ed Sheeran. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. It was really funny.
So funny.
New EP by Courting.
So how much have they paid that bloke to do that? Because it's fucking hilarious.
It's the fact someone's getting paid just to be a Northern Ed Sheeran is what's sending me.
Amazing. Yeah.
That is brilliant. That is such a brilliant video. That is one of the funniest ones I've seen recently on the indie Twitter. I think that's fucking jokes. Joe, are you listening to anyone exciting, mate?
Yeah, I wanted to shout out a new one we put in the playlist this week called The Spins. They're an American band from New Jersey, and it's quite like American pop punk sort of vibes, but I feel like they've got quite a UK indie sort of overtone on it. Like you can sort of tell they're American, but it has quite a UK vibe. And their song Lucky Sig is the one I put in the playlist.
Lucky Sig is a fucking
Really
belter.
good. Really good.
Good
Nice.
tune. Very good tune.
Very good.
Go on, Elliot, your turn now, lad.
I've got Vile. Vial.
I love Vile.
They're so good.
And the ones I chat with them all the time. They're all so lovely as well.
They're so brilliant. So brilliant. Their track Therapy and their newest one, Or Die, they're both fucking belters. And the sound is just outrageous. It's just so loud and arrogant. And every time I listen to it,
they're from America, but they're also fucking funny. Like they're actually like all so funny. Like I love that. Yeah. Boss EP they've got out.
Yeah, they are brilliant. So go check all of them out and Crawlers, thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for inviting us. It's been so amazing.
Yeah, it's been class.
No, we're grateful for your time. It's been good. Been wanting to do it for a while, so I'm glad we could find a slot.
It's been fun.
Very grateful. So, yeah.
Oh, defo. Thanks for having us on, you absolute legends.
Yeah, we'll get something going in person when we're up Liverpool way. We'll sort something out.
Let's do it.
Nice.
Be mega. Well, if you're still listening or watching, thank you very much. Like the video. Leave us a 5-star review because it was a very good podcast again. You know, nailing them out. So make sure you go straight. Did it.
End it quick.
Sure you go.
I'll do that.
And make sure you go and stream Crawlers. New single, Breathe. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. We'll see you all on the side. Peace.
Peace.
Lovely stuff.
Beautiful. Found out we've not been recording this whole time now.
Don't
Don't say that.